What led you to ministry? Like, what made you know that ministry was like, this is who I am? Like, this is what I want to do now?
Yeah. Man, honestly, what led me to ministry was two things, and it's still what leads me to ministry today. It's God and people. Like, legit, dude. Like, I heard the voice of the Lord. The Lord said, this is what you're going to do. Okay, yes, God, I obey. So, number one, like, I'm in ministry because God has told me to be, you know. And I try to make obedience my North Star.
Yeah.
If God says something, that's what I need to do. Secondly, like, I legitimately really want to serve people. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
Because I hate to hear about people going through what I went through. And I also have a pretty good context of what people experience day to day in the neighborhoods that I used to live in. I'd like to help those people.
Yeah. And you traveled for a lot of your young adulthood life.
I did, yeah.
When did you start traveling?
Pretty much right away. So funny thing is, like, I get saved, I go home, my dad starts to disciple me, right? So every night my mom cooks dinner, and then when we finish eating, we sit down in front of the TV and watch a different T.D. Jakes DVD.
T.D. Jakes,
Yep,
come on.
for 9 months.
Wow.
That's how I got discipled. So my dad had the remote. When I had a question, he would pause it, and we would talk, and then he would play. We did that for 9 months, a different T.D. Jakes message every night. So I can't wait to thank T.D. Jakes for that. And I've had some prophetic dreams about him, and I had some in that season. I wrote him a letter.
Oh,
Like, dude, I used to be a drug dealer and a terrible person. Like, you blessed my life. Yeah, it's true. So that's how I got discipled. And I was training to go back to play college basketball.
really?
Yeah, because I was like, this is my dream. I had the opportunity to play for a Division II local college basketball team that had just won the national championship, D2. They were interested in having me walk on. I was training. I was better than I'd ever been my whole life because no drugs, no alcohol.
Right.
I mean,
felt good.
Oh, dude, my nutrition's on point, strength's on point. Like, I'm like the better than I've ever been. I'm like, I'm gonna walk on without a problem. Like, I was so pumped. And then I felt like the Lord was saying, "You're called to preach."
Wow.
You know, you're called to be a preacher. And
You're so good at preaching, by the way.
dude, thank you.
One of my faves.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That's a blessing to hear. I remember telling my dad about it, like, hey, so this is what I'm called to do. And I remember him, you know, he was like, I always knew that about you. So he told me, he was like, hey, maybe you should not play college basketball. And I was like, dude, what? My first word was ball, you know, like, legit. Like, I always wanted to play basketball and love basketball. And then that night, the Lord spoke to me. He was like, I remember, I remember this like it was last night, dude. Because like, you know, the Bible, David's like, I soaked my bed.
Yeah.
I literally soaked through my whole bed because I was like kind of fighting with the Lord. I was like, this is my whole dream.
Yeah.
And I remember him asking me, but how many more souls could come into the kingdom if you would, you know, hang the basketball jersey up and become a pastor, become a preacher? And that was how I decided to, you know, stop playing ball. And I wrote, like, on my basketball, like, wrote Isaac. I'm like, this is a sacrifice unto the Lord.
Oh, wow.
You know, to be a part of basketball and sports. And so that I moved to Austin, Texas. You mentioned traveling. I'm sorry. I'm telling you too many details.
No, it's great. Love it.
I'm detailed also.
The more details, the better. Love it.
So I moved to Austin, Texas to go to a ministry school. Met a guy there who'd grown up in West Africa. He took me under his wing. His name is Jonathan Suber. He pastors in Texas today. And traveled with him to Ivory Coast and to Kenya and to Uganda and went to South Africa and Mexico and the Philippines.
Oh, my gosh.
And he took me all these places, and I just got bit by the bug. I was like, why am I fishing over here in America where everybody's already heard of Jesus? Like, practically everybody is saved.
Right.
Like, there's so many people that have never heard the name of Jesus. I'm going there.
Right.
I'm going to minister to those people.
Because you got that, like, an evangelical, like, blood running through your veins.
Definitely,
so that would have been, like, so empowering for you to get overseas.
Big time.
And when you were over there, you started a ministry over there, right?
Yeah, I started a nonprofit called Mercy 29. And so the 29 comes from Job chapter 29. Verse 15 says, I was eyes to the blind, feet to the lame, father to the needy. And so that hit my heart, and I was like, I'm doing that. I'm going to give my life to that, to being
So
that,
good.
you know, for kids. And I always had this heart for kids. Like, even whenever I told my parents I was going to go to college, right? And I actually did go for like 2 weeks. Like,
just 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks. And they were like, what's your degree program? They ask you that when you go to college. And I mean, I never did homework my entire high school career. Like, I was a terrible student.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, that's
school, man.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I know it sucks. And no disrespect to the teachers out there. You guys are great.
You guys are
great.
You guys are amazing.
So I was like, I'm gonna be in pre-med, and they were like, pre-med? You're gonna be in pre-med? Like, your transcript is terrible. And I'm like, I just want to help kids. I remember saying that. Aww. Like, I'm not even saved, So my motivation really even for starting that organization, like, I always wanted to preach and do evangelism and get over there, but I'm like, this is the most vulnerable people on planet Earth is little kids, even more so little girls. Yeah. And I've always just had a heart. I'm like, I just want to help little kids. I want to help these little girls that have been trafficked, they've been traded, they've been sold, they've been used and abused and discarded. Like, these people have dignity. I want to help them. Mm. And that all started because I met this little girl named Zina in Pemba, Mozambique, and I felt like the Lord said, you're going to have thousands of kids all over the world. This is just the first one.
Wow.
So for me, I'm like, this is what I want to help these kids. So that's how Mercy 29 started.
Wow. And then while you were with Mercy 29, you worked with Iris a bit, right?
Yeah. Like, Heidi and Roland are my spiritual parents. I went there because I wanted to learn how to do what Heidi was doing, meaning how to take care of kids, but then also the spirit that rests upon Heidi, which is I'll be martyred. Mm. That's appealing to me. And for me, I never really had a strategy. Mm-hmm. I didn't. Honestly, I do not know how to rescue kids from human trafficking, and we did a lot of that, but I don't have a clue. I have no education. I have no credentials. I have spoken at universities on how to do it, and I tell them, I don't know how to do this. I'm telling you right now, I don't know, but I do know this, is you get broken on behalf of the people you're called to serve. Mm. And like, the brokenness always leads to breakthrough. So if you'll get broken enough, God will provide breakthrough. At that time, at its height, we were caring for about 1,800 orphan kids.
Wow.
So it was a big work. But I was only 25 years old, so I just had no clue. I mean, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I am riding the wave of momentum. And so I came back and asked Heidi and Roland, after hearing a prophetic word, that there would be more Iris bases in America. Mm-hmm. So I asked them if they would be interested in starting one in Nashville, because my goal was not to pastor a church, but to start a school. Mm-hmm. So we would have a church here, but then we would have a school and then have a deployment center. And so we would have people locally attend the church if they would like. I wasn't going to be the pastor. Mm-hmm. And this is where Gary Morgan comes into the story. So I was not going to be the pastor. I was going to be the overseer of, like, the deployment center. Mm-hmm. So I moved here with 10 of my friends, all from all over the U.S. None of them are here now. Like, they've all kind of dispersed and gone their own direction. But, like, that's how I moved here. And my goal was to start this missions base with Iris and just oversee deployment and help with the school and just get as many missionaries as I could with me to India.
Out there, yeah.
Yeah, because there's 1.2 billion people at the time. So I'm like, this is a big effort, and we need a lot of help.
You need disciples. You need apostles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Heidi had just appointed me the director of Iris India. And I'm like, oh, that's no big deal. I'm 25, and there's over 1 billion people here. Yeah, I got this.
How am I supposed to do this? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to start something, like a pipeline to get more people there. I think it was a good idea looking back, but my leadership lid was so low that I had no clue what I was doing. Mm. And I just didn't know what I was getting myself into with Western Church. Mm. I met Gary Morgan at Sean Bowles' house, and I say he met me because he walks up to me and he says, hey, do you know why church splits happen? This is how Gary introduces himself to me. He does not say his name or anything. He's like, hey, do you know how church splits happen? And I'm like, nope. He said, it's when aunties and uncles try to behave like moms and dads. And the Lord just wants to know if you're going to step up in this season and be a father. Wow. And I was like, I know exactly why you're asking me this. It's because the Lord was inviting me to pastor the church that we were starting here.
To become a father.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I am a pastor today, is because of that interaction with Gary. So that happened until 2016. So we did that for about 4 years. It was Sunday nights.
Man, Iris Nashville was the best.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you ever
the
come to Iris
nights?
Nashville?
Yeah, I went to one of the house meetings.
Oh, man.
It was the best.
Yeah, I would go to like 3 a.m.
Yeah, when I was in college, when I went for like 2 weeks as well. But yeah, we went to Iris Nashville worship nights. It was awesome.
I did not know you came.
Yeah, I mean, I was hidden in the back,
Well, if everybody would have stayed, we'd have a mega church. Like, so many people came through Iris Nashville because it was so raw.
Yeah.
It was so raw.
It was so raw and genuine. And, like, that's the power that you guys put into people. You empowered them to go out,
It's crazy,
like, people just come in, receive, and then go and spread it.
I had no idea it had any good effect on anybody.
It had a great effect.
I thought it was pretty much garbage, just like that prayer set with Dante.
Yeah, you weren't on the sauce.
No, I'm like, this is all garbage. No one's staying. No one's tithing. This is not a real church. Like, I'm a terrible leader. Like, I was confronted with those ideas absolutely every single day of us initiating Iris Nashville. And there was, like, a church split happening because my friend who had moved here to help me, like, didn't even like me anymore, I don't think. Like, we had gotten into some arguments, and they weren't like big things, but they were just struggling.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but how old were you when you started?
Yeah, I was like 26.
That's young.
Yeah.
That's young to start a church.
It is. It's very young, yeah.
So you would have learned so much. Like, the Lord has just worked through all of that.
Yeah, I was in full-time vocational ministry 6 months after I was saved.
Wow. I mean, but that's you, all in.
All in, man. Let's go.
And now Iris Nashville has become...
Yep.
Legacy.
Yep. So we call legacies like when we really planted our local church. Mm-hmm. So we were a missions base before. We were a ministry night. We served the community through worship nights and service projects and things like that. But we really planted legacy on January the 1st of 2016. So we're almost 4 years old.
Come on.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
gone great.
And so what is your high and low of leading a church?
Yeah, I would say a high is seeing people grow. Like, I know that's low-hanging fruit, but like when you see somebody really catch it, they're like, I came in like this, and then I got saved, and then I got baptized, and then my marriage got healed, and then my body it's like, that's the best, right? You can rejoice. I love that. I also love preaching and just watching God move in an atmosphere when the word is being presented. That's just something fun for myself. I like that a lot, I would say one thing that's really hard about being a pastor, there's a few things. When people leave, that sucks. That's hard, dude.
Yeah.
When people are like, I don't like your church anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. I'll see you next week. We're totally able to continue in our relationship like nothing ever happened. Like, that's hard. Like, you lose friends.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. That would be really hard, especially when you've grown so much with people.
Yeah. And you've given so much. And they may not see it that way.
Right.
But to pull back the curtain a little bit, like for me, like sometimes even phone calls and text messages can be sacrifices. And I know not everybody sees that. I'm texting my pastor.
Right.
But
that's a big sacrifice for you, but
people
people wouldn't know that.
Yeah, like in certain moments, at 9:30 I get your voice memo, and I'm leaving my kids, and I've already done 6 Zoom calls today, and and those little things, it may not be a big deal once, because it's not. But they stockpile over years, and that's years of equity that you're investing in someone's life, and they don't see at 4 a.m. when you wake up and the Lord's like, hey, pray for so-and-so. And you spend 30 minutes praying for them, and you follow up with them, and you text them, or you spend time, just seeking God on their behalf, or loving their kids, or, investing into their life and connecting them with other people that are, valuable connections to you. It's like, hey, I'm trying to bless you as much as I can. And so that's a painful thing when you feel like that investment is treated so flippantly by someone to say, hey, you know what? Like, I just don't like it here anymore. So see ya.
Yeah.
We're still cool though, right? And I'm like, yeah, we're cool. Like, it's great.
It just hurts a little bit.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I'm just dying on the inside.
Right.
Yeah. Because people don't realize this, but pastors take it very personally. I know you know this, but like, it's your heart, like the strings of your heart is wrapped up in what you do because you give so much of your life to it.
Yeah. It's been so great to for people, I think, to hear your story. I mean, it's great for me to even hear little more details about your story, but I just think it's so powerful, and I love Legacy. I love what you guys do. And also, it's pretty cool because Legacy is the name of your dad's church, right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, my dad actually is the one who created the name, if you will,
Really?
Because when we were in the process of switching over from Iris to... we didn't know. We were like, what is this church going to be called? And we really liked the name of a church, but it was already taken. Nashville Life. We were like, well, maybe we should do something with life in the name. It's like that. It's holistic. It's cool. And then I was like, there's already a church called Nashville Life. We can't do that. Shout out to CC because that's an amazing church in Alvin. But my dad was like, it's called Legacy. And I'm like, Dad, no, it cannot be called Legacy. There's a funeral home next door. They're going to get confused. They're going to think we're part of the funeral home. And he was like, nope, that's what it is. I'm telling you, that's what it is. And then the more and more we prayed about it, the more confirmation I felt from the Lord. And I shared it with Heidi. And I said, hey, we're thinking about changing the name of the church and joining in with my dad. And we didn't tell her the name. We just told her that. And she said, Lyle, you just got to do Legacy.
Oh.
And I was like, just sitting there, just waiting on it. And she was like, we're all about legacy. You got to do Legacy. I said, well, you want to know what the name of the church is? She's like, what? And I'm like, Legacy. She's like,
my gosh.
Oh, we're getting wrecked. I remember she said that.
Oh, man, she's the best.
She's the best.
Well, I mean, you guys really do steward Legacy.
Thank
here.
you.
And so,
Thank you.
Well done.
And thanks for having me as part of your after church
Yeah.
show. I can always say in the future that I was one of the first before it just blew up to like prime time and you're on network television.
Oh my gosh, or it shuts down.
No.
And I'm just doing reaction videos on YouTube of me watching preaching. I'll be watching your preaching and I'll just play a reaction video of me. That's what people want to watch now anyway, right?
If you do that, I will watch that.
Okay, I'll do a reaction video just for you.
All right. Come back. We'll do a reaction video together.
We should.
Preaching.
Yeah, we'll do part two.
A preaching reaction video?
Yes,
Can we seriously do that?
Let's totally do it. 100%.
Let's go.
All right. Well, before we go,
Yep.
we should play a game.
All right. Let's play a game.
All right. So I was thinking that this game would be called the Hidden Talent Game.
Okay.
And you have a hidden talent that I don't know if everyone knows this, but
I don't know about this.
you can rap.
No, I cannot rap.
Yes, you can rap.
No, I cannot.
You can flow.
I am terrible.
I think you can. And I think you have to share this hidden talent with the world right now. What do you think? Come on.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll do it.
Yes.
Okay, so people have to like Spotify me. All right. I have one.
Do you have a song?
I have one rap song on Spotify that my friend let me be a part of his record.
Oh my God. What is
Yeah.
it called?
I Must Go Wild.
I Must Go Wild by who? Lyle Phillips?
No, it's Burke Zach.
Burke Zach. And
Yeah.
you're what, like a star?
I'm a feature.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play it in the credits. Can I play it?
Play it in the credits. See what you guys think.
All right.
See if you like
Sweet.
it.
Okay, so now we're going to flow.
We're gonna flow.
Do you want to pick the subject, what we're going to flow about, or do you want me to pick the subject?
You
or?
pick the subject.
All right.
This is gonna be trash, but we're gonna go for it.
All right, I think I'll beatbox to it
Okay.
for you. Do
Oh
you want,
my
like, something
gosh.
fast or like...
You do whatever you want to do, and I will do my best to make this work.
It's going to be hilarious. Okay.
Our sound engineer, production coordinator extraordinaire is going to get a kick out of
Yes,
this.
he
Brian
is.
here is in the room.
Brian's
He is
gonna love
ready
this.
to roll.
All right. How about let's do a free flow
Let's do a free flow.
about the life of a pastor.
The life of a pastor. Oh my gosh. Let's
Are we
try.
ready?
Let's try. This could be so bad I could screw it up right away.
No, you're going to be great. I've heard you flow before. It's
You
amazing.
have?
Yes.
Where?
It was at Iris Nashville.
It was at
And
church.
Chris was playing guitar, and then you just came out and started rapping.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I used
You
to do
totally
this
did.
every now and
The
then.
Red Curtain building.
Oh, that was at Wallace Chapel.
Yep.
All right, let's
right,
the
let's do
life
it.
of a pastor.
Life of a
this
pastor.
is going to be really hard. I've never tried to rap on this subject before.
Okay. Well,
All right.
if not, we'll do it again. We'll figure it out.
Whatever. We'll try.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
You are all in.
I'm all in, Tink. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
You're good at this. Okay, so life of a pastor. Diving in. Freeing people from sin. Only one rule is Jesus wins. So they got to repent, get to the front of the altar. What can I say? I just got to pray every single day. Hit my knees. Depend on grace. That's the way it goes. So I'll let a flow go one more time on the after church show. Hey, yo, just gonna keep rapping. Gonna keep leading the church like a captain. Strapped in, sitting in the chair. So aware of where God's presence is. On a tear, ripping through the darkness. I think that's all I got today.
Yes! Brian, did you love that?
Brian loved that.
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh! And we turned the air off in here a long time
I know.
ago,
I'm like
so
sweating.
we're getting hot.
I'm sweating, but that's because it's
I don't think
fire.
it was good. I don't think it was
You wanna
good.
go
But
again?
no.
All right, we're
Just
done.
leave it.
We're good.
You know what Brian told
remember
me?
you said that you think that you're not on the sauce, but maybe
Somebody could have just been blessed by that.
You know what? Someone just got saved from that.
Somebody just got saved.
Exactly.
A literal Benny Hinn wave.
Yeah, you
like
just
hit somebody in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's what Brian said. I told him, I said, Tink may ask me to rap. And he's like, you know what you should do? He was like, you should literally memorize a rap and just pretend like it's a freestyle. But I didn't.
No, because you're all in.
I'm all in.
You couldn't do it.
I'm all in.
He has to be authentic, Brian.
Yeah, that's it. Vulnerability, transparency. Let's go after it.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
You're the best.
It's my honor.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time for part 2, the reaction video.
Reaction video. Let's go. We did it.
It is so hot.
I know it got so hot in here.